All of this is my journey. I'm not saying that you should do any of this, but I am saying that taking a chance on my creativity has been one of the biggest life-changing moments that has ever happened to me in my 20s. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kadeja, and this is the full story of how I became a creative. I'm a freelance creative based out of the DMV area. I have two businesses. One is a stationery brand on Etsy, and another one is a service-based product, content creation, social media manager. I'm really excited to share how did I get here, because at one point in time, I did not think I would be anywhere near this entrepreneurial life now. I didn't even consider myself to be a creative person 5 years ago. So here we are 5 years later, and I'm excited to share my journey in hopes that it inspires someone else to do the same, to take the leap, or to at least see that all is possible when you really put yourself out there on social media or just in a creative space in general. So let's get into it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section. I'm happy to share more about my life and how did I get here. I want to be sure that I help people on this channel. So please, 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 if you ever have a question, drop it into the comment section. And let's get into it, y'all. So like most great stories, my story starts in 2020 in the pandemic. We all were stuck in the house. I really went to YouTube University. I'm not going to hold you, y'all. I found myself scrolling a lot, and I fell in love with the typography art type things that people were posting, and I got super curious about how people were illustrating and putting these amazing designs on social media to share for the most part. Not really thinking about it as, oh, this could be a business, but more so like, this seems really cool. I wonder how people are doing it. I ran across an amazing creative called She Meets City and Coco Michelle. Changed my entire life. Shout out to those ladies and those YouTubers. And shout out to YouTube in general for being a website that you could really deep dive and really get your whole entire life. I found a whole new part of myself based on what I found on YouTube. So shout out to YouTube. She Meets City is a artist and illustrator. She lives in New York City, and she has a YouTube channel where she deep dives into how she grew her Etsy shop. Coco Michelle is another amazing designer that did the same thing. Their Etsy shops inspired me and made me think like, oh wow, this could really be a business. I have some dope designs. Let me figure out how I can make this shake. So I found out that they both use an iPad. I had no iPad, had no artistic capabilities whatsoever. During the pandemic, if you all remember, we did receive stimulus checks. So I received mine, it was around, I believe it was like $250 to $500, somewhere around that range. I used that money to go buy an iPad and an Apple Pencil, and the rest is literally history. I remember being younger and loving art, but honestly, I could not draw to save my life. Like, we had to draw still lives, and that was just not my ministry. And I think back and I really wish that I had other mediums. Now that I'm older, I love collage and I love digital and I love editing. Like, there's so many different ways to share your creativity that I felt like my artistic talents weren't cultivated as they could be as a kid. So when I got the iPad, I really just felt that I was vindicating little Kadeja and saying like, go girl, just do whatever. You're great at it. You're doing so good, sweetie. So somewhere really shortly after I got the iPad, I probably got it in the spring, and within the next month or two, I was thinking about opening an Etsy shop. I was sharing my designs online. People were really feeling them. And by really, I mean like people would be in my DMs like, good job, girl. It wasn't like the masses. So I started an Instagram page, started sharing my illustrations. And that led to me creating an Etsy shop creating a website first. And then later on, I created an Etsy shop. But I launched my website and things were doing pretty well. I launched my website in May-ish, and if anyone can remember, in June, the Black Lives Matter movement really caught fire. Racial tensions were high, people were learning things, and also it was a lot of like emotion, even especially from me being a Black woman living in Richmond, Virginia, which was the capital of the Confederacy. It was running rampant. People were protesting, it was still COVID going on. So it was just a lot, y'all. And I was using my art to share information and also express myself personally. So a lot of my illustrations were taking off around that time, and that's when I seen the most growth on my Instagram page. So a lot of that happened early. Along with, if you all remember again, that summer people were really, really supportive of Black-owned businesses, and you kind of seen that trickle throughout the next couple years. Both of those things really contributed a lot to my early growth on Instagram as an artist. During this time, I was really understanding what it meant to be a business owner, and also what it meant to be an artist that was a business owner. I did a lot of things as I was sharing more. I got a partnership with a paint and sip company in Dubai, which I thought was absolutely nuts. And I worked with Alethea Athletics. I sold an illustration for them for Juneteenth, actually. It was a lot, y'all. I credit the uprise and uptick of people being interested in Black art, Black artistry, and actually pouring back into the community for a lot of my growth early on in this industry. At this point, I was making multiple figures on my own website, and I decided to jump on Etsy, where I was learning a lot about SEO and tags and things like that, and it also ramped up within the first year. Let me get a quote, because I don't want to, just tell y'all random things. Hold on. First year on Etsy. From January, I started my Etsy shop on the 2nd. I didn't even know it was this early. I probably didn't start posting on Etsy until June-ish. Yeah. So if you can see this, hold on, my phone dirty now. If you can see this, I started posting on Etsy in June of 2020, and by the end of that year, I made, can y'all see that? I made $10,000 on Etsy that first year. Then the following year, I'm really putting my business out. The following year on Etsy, I made $3,500 on Etsy. I don't know if y'all could see that. So yeah, Etsy was a big moneymaker for me. That's how I paid off student loan debts. I paid off a large amount of my Sallie Mae student loan debts based on Etsy, and I highly recommend it. I know it's a lot of back and forth about Etsy, especially with the fees and things like that, but if you really use it to your advantage, I do highly recommend it, and you can make money off of it. Let me know if you have any questions about it. During this time, I was on Etsy, I was online, e-commerce, Black Friday, Christmas. I was really doing those things. And then also in Richmond, Virginia, it was a very strong small business community. So I was going to pop-up markets and maybe making around $1,000 every weekend selling my products and really getting my name out there. So I believe that's the gist of my K-Lid Co. stationery art brand Etsy business. I will say the pinnacle of that entire experience, and I'm still selling products, but the pinnacle of success, and when I thought okay, I did all the things that I really want to do here, was in December of 2021. I had a conversation which has a distribution deal with TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshalls. So that whole conglomerate, I was able to have mugs and tote bags with my art on it, and I have a product in Marshalls.
Y'all, I was gonna bump like this. Turn around and I make it jump like this.
Which is crazy. So the thing is, with this deal, with this licensing partnership, the licensing company doesn't exactly know where the products end up. They know that Marshalls purchased them or Home Goods purchased it.
It's only my 3rd day out here. I don't know.
But they don't know exactly what store it could end up in. So it's like a scavenger hunt. I'm keeping tabs on it. It has been found in North Carolina, Chesapeake, overseas in Europe, and New York. This moment feels good. But in complete transparency, I don't know if my goal is to be in the Targets and the Home Goods and the Marshalls anymore, because the breakdown doesn't appeal to me. However, shit is pretty cool.
Okay, we all have gifts. You cannot throw.
At that point, I really thought wow, this is everything that I could ever dream of. From 2020 to 2021, and now all the way in 2024, K-Lid Co. is an amazing business. I'm so proud of my baby. Across the board on Etsy, I've made $71,000 and $71,710.30 on Etsy, not including taxes or fees and all that. But yeah, that's my Capcut Pro journey. Moving from that to where I am now, and y'all, that was just part one. We have so much more to cover about my creative journey. During this time, I obviously was still working a 9-to-5. I used my business and all of my marketing and everything that I was learning to rebuild my resume and really revamp it, because if you remember, it was COVID. So I was working in the schools, and then I was no longer working in the schools. And my favorite thing about working in the schools was actually working with kids, not at home and pretending that I'm working with kids and really impacting lives. No shade, but I just really like being in the schools. So I wanted a remote job, and I wanted something that was going to reinforce what I was doing in my freelance life. So I used my business as a resume builder, and all I really needed was a chance, y'all. Like, I built my portfolio, showed them what I was doing, showed them that I grew my page from nothing to 10,000 at this point. So I became a communications professional. I was working for Planned Parenthood and doing everything digitally, from email marketing to social media to website for them. I worked for them for 2 years, and then I decided, I need something bigger. That's like the common phrase throughout my entire journey, is like, okay, I feel like I mastered this thing. What's next? Because I get bored. It's the ADHD. What can I say? So in June of 2022, I decided to move to DMV. Initially, this move was supposed to be to elevate my small business, Capcut Pro. I have no idea why I thought that would be like a good idea, but I said, I'm going to come here, I'm going to meet new people, and I'm really going to put myself out there as an artist. Now, what had happened was there is not a lot of support for small businesses in the DMV area. What I found is that DC and the DMV in general is more for people who are network professionals, government, contractors, or in my most recent experience, a service-based business where you're providing something for someone else. We could deep dive on that all day, but I realized that, and I decided, like, okay, if I want to be an entrepreneur, I might have to get into another bag. And that was really, really hard to digest, y'all. I thought I was going from a pool where I was not a big fish, but I knew everybody. Like, I knew where I was going. I felt super comfortable in my hometown. And then I moved to DC, where it's a whole different ballgame. I'm a tiny fish in a really, really big pond. And I don't have my friends. I don't have the basis that I need. And I fell into a really deep depression, which depression and creativity do not mesh well. So I stopped altogether drawing, and I stopped altogether. I really, really slowed down. I didn't stop selling products on Etsy. Like, it wasn't something that I was excited about anymore. And I really contemplated like ending my entire entrepreneurial journey and just focusing on work. At this time, I had a new job. I was getting a lot more money, and I didn't really see like the need for me to be looking for these outside opportunities anymore, because I was making a good amount of money. I was spending a lot of time at work, actually needing that creative energy to pour into their business and their model. So I just, when I tell you I was burnt out and depressed and just really needing something new that wasn't tied directly to money and finances, which I completely agree with. I don't think that everything that you like to do needs to be monetized, but I do think a lot of the things that we do can be monetized, especially if you're looking for a side job. Slight tangent. During this time when I was trying to find myself, I dabbled in a lot of new hobbies. And that was super fun because we all are human people and we're all creatives. What was I doing? I did let me do it in order because it was a little all over the place. I did photography. Really loved that. Didn't have the right camera, nor did I want to invest in the right camera because I just thought, like, who knows how long I'm going to do this. So I did photography for a bit, and then I moved on to collage. I love collage. That's why this channel kind of has the growth that it does have, is because of collaging. And then I moved on to bass. It's which was fun too, but needed a lot of concentration. I need to circle back on base because base was a lot of fun too. In June, that's when we found the baby that we have right now. In June of 2023, I began social media management, which I was doing already for my job, so it wasn't like, social media management, but social media was the one thing that I really, really enjoyed about my job. Like, website maintenance is cool. I'm not really trying to do that. Email marketing is great. It's way too finicky, y'all. But social media was where I was really like getting into my vibe. It has graphic design elements from video editing, content creation, all of that was my jam. And I was already doing a lot of that for myself. I grew my TikTok page while I was going through all of these things and all these moves, and like I was already doing for Kayla Co, maintaining that page and growing my personal brand at the same time. June of 2023, I was looking for a community and I found a group called Hey New Friends. It is a group for women that are networking, trying to make new friends in this adult life, which is super, super hard. Mostly Black women that enjoy fun things in the city. So I joined, and I knew the founder, who is Crystal Carter. She was looking for someone to take on social media because while she is the CEO, she was like, look, girl, I need someone who actually enjoys this content creation life. You like it? You can get free membership if you do it. And I was like, all right, bet. Now, looking back, I would absolutely tell anyone two things. A part of me is like, never do any work for free. Period. Another part of me is like, if you have no proof of concept, do something that may not be the price that you know that you would put on it for a shorter period of time to try, especially if the relationship is good, to try things out, especially if they trust your creative talents. Try some things out on this page, see if you can grow it, see what shakes, and that's exactly what I did with Hey New Friends. It's something that's super important to me. I'm passionate about the group, so it's easy to create content for them. It's a symbiotic relationship. At first it was free membership, now I'm getting paid, and now it's something that I always point to when I'm looking at my portfolio for potential clients. It also led to me creating my side business. I don't think that I would be here today if it was not for Hey New Friends, if it was not for like jumping into that opportunity and saying, hey, you may not have the funds for me right now, but I want to work with you. And because of that, I was connected to so many people, and that was how I was able to get a lot of gig work, figure out what I really like to do, all through just saying yes to that one opportunity. So last summer, the summer of 2023 was super lit, y'all. I was connected with someone because of the way that I love content creation. I'm able to edit at such a quick pace. I went to Broccoli City Fest for I was backstage. I was interviewing people and recording and doing real event time content. So I really, really enjoyed that. I found that that was one of my passions. I worked for a conference. Yeah, it was just up from then, y'all. And in August of 2023, I launched my own content studio called 1710 Studios, and I began accepting clients for gig work. Meaning I am either in and out. I'm showing up for your brunch. I'm showing up for your conference. I'm showing up to do behind the scenes work. I'm able to turn around a reel and get things edited for you, and you pay me and I'm out. Not really into, I never really thought while I was still working that I was able to take on another social media management client. So I steered away from that. 1710 Studios is a full service content studio named after my grandfather's home in Richmond, Virginia. And I'm super passionate about creating things that matter on social media and helping brands like you do the same thing. I'm Kadeja. I'm the creative head honcho behind 1710 Studios. And really quick, I just want to tell you where this all started. The one thing that I always get asked since launching this brand is, what is 1710 Studios and why 1710, right? My granddad lived at 1710 Wesley Street in Richmond. That is where my dad grew up. That is where he lived with his two brothers, my grandmother and my grandfather. And to this day, my dad can tell stories about this neighborhood and his life growing up. Of course, some of them are tall tales, but it's the vivid imagery, the words, the jokes that really, really drives me to love that 1710 means so much to my family. I even spent a small portion of my childhood at 1710. All of my memories are really wrapped up into that home with my granddad. He passed away when I was in first grade. Sadly, 1710 Wesley Street is no longer in my family. At 1710 Studios, we'll create the same level of community, that same vibrant energy, radiate that same love, tell the same dynamic stories about your brand, your community, your events. Let's create. It is the manifestation of all of my creative interests, really. Like, I think I named it 1710 Studios because I know that I could do whatever it is that I want to do. Like, I could do social media management, I could do videography, I could do photography, I can do content creation. Like, anything I want can be housed into the studio creatively. And all in all, I just want to make things that matter on social media. I think a lot of times right now you see people just recreating, showing up because they have to, and not really thinking diligently about what it is that they're putting out into the world. So I love that I'm able to work with clients that have super dope products, that have super dope events and entertainment opportunities, and I'm able to really capture the in real life vibes to the digital world. So fast forward, we are here. It is, at the time of this recording, it is April 20th of 2024. I have been almost doing social media management and creative content freelance work. I'm working on a name, y'all. I've been doing this for about a year now. I still have my stationery brand and Etsy shop running. And drum roll, please. We are now doing this full time. Yeah. I got laid off from my job in February, and honestly, it has been the best thing to ever happen to me in my life. I hope that you can hear from this that I've been making money for 4 to 5 years now in this freelance game, and I've never really felt the need to go full time, just because why not have dual income? But at the same time, I've never been able to fully jump off the porch and say, you know, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to trust on my creativity to generate income, as it's been doing to sustain my lifestyle. For the past 2 months or so, I've been living this amazing life where I'm able to take these gigs, where I'm able to move how I want to move, work the hours that I want to work, reach out to the people that I want to work with. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because the budget sometimes doesn't look like the budget that I'm used to. Like, I'm used to doing whatever and not really thinking about the cost, because I have money coming in from multiple ways. So it's been a shift, y'all. Now, don't listen to me as if you should jump off the porch unless you're ready. Don't do it unless you're ready, y'all. But it's been an amazing experience. I'm excited to keep sharing about the ways that I figure out how to make money creatively. All of this is my journey. I'm not saying that you should do any of this, but I am saying that taking a chance on my creativity has been one of the biggest life-changing moments that has ever happened to me in my 20s. And I hope that this inspires you to think deeply about what it is that you want to do, and how one decision to buy an iPad with your stimulus check could change the trajectory of your adult life. So yeah, keep following me. Let me know if y'all have any questions in the comments. I'm Kadeja. This is my page. This is my freelance journey. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.